You're watching WRKM Channel 22, number one in the region. Good evening. I'm Ralphie Ortiz, and this went in darkness. Imagine, if you will, you're going on a lovely walk, nice old walk around your neighborhood, and you're kind of in your own zone. You're not thinking about much. You're just enjoying the day. It's a little sunny, a little cloudy. Clouds expected later, but you don't mind because by that time it'll be nighttime, and that's when your walk typically ends. But the air does smell funny. And to be fair, the air in New York always smells funny. There's never been a time where I walked through New York and went, that's a pleasant smell. That just doesn't happen. Even when you walk in front of flower shops, there's just too many flowers coming at you at once. A bombardment of sensation. Not good. Not good. But you're walking around and you go, man, it's a little hazy out. Little haze. Haze happens from time to time in New York. You see it on a forecast. You don't normally see it, but you see a little hint of it, particularly in the summers. So you think nothing of it. But there's also rain coming later, apparently. So maybe it's light fog. Maybe a light fog is coming in. And I don't mind me a light fog. I love a light fog. Fog is one of my favorite times to walk around. It has an eerie feeling to it. It's what I imagine, what the old ancestors felt like when they saw fog. Like, ooh, dangerous. What's lurking in the fog? And then I started thinking about like all the forests when they were still here before, the colonization, and how beautiful it must have looked with all the fog going through the trees, but yet an air of mystery. What's in there? A deer, a bear, a Dutch colonial ready to shoot me in the chest? Never know. Never know. As a Lenape Indian, you just never knew what was going to be in that fog. So in a sense, I feel a little connection to them when I see the fog. I'm like, I am one of them now. A true Brooklynite, afraid of the fog. But you keep walking, and the smell starts to get a little weirder. But then you're like, you know what? Whatever. It's not going to ruin my walk. Everyone else seems to be cool. I'm jamming to some cool Spotify tunes. Who's going to stop me from this walk? I need this walk. I'm a bit big now. Bit obese these days, at least according to the BMI scale. Time to lose the weight. Only way I like to do it is walking. Gym's a little weird to me. I'll get there eventually. But you keep walking. Because walking's fun. Walking, to me, if you're really lost or if you're really confused or miserable, go for a walk. It's such a cliche piece of advice, but it's good to do. It's good to do. It clears the mind out. You're focusing on something other than yourself for a moment because there's so many other things going outside. You have like we talked about here, I think many episodes ago, but when you walk out the door, you're entering an agreement that no one's going to hurt one another. An unspoken agreement. But that's only with the people who are down not to hurt nobody. So you still have to be on your guard. So when you're walking around, you kind of get that sense of, well, I got to be aware of where I am, who's around me, what can go down. And you got to process that in seconds. And you're doing it almost every few seconds. So you don't have time to get bogged down in the depression you're probably in, or the intrusive thoughts that keep coming in and out. They go away for a little bit. They alleviate. And your body gets, a workout out of it. And it releases good hormones to your body. So a good walk should not be stopped, cannot be stopped, Diddy style. But then you get to the waterfront and you look at the skyline and go, ooh, it's really foggy over there. It kind of looks like it's in the middle of a rainstorm over there. What the hell's going on? So you pull out your phone for the first time to check the weather and you go, oh, there's an air quality advisory. And I've been walking unhealthy air. That was me on Tuesday night. The night before the Great Orange Twilight. And to be honest with you, it looked kind of scary then. There was a light hue of orange, just a tad bit. The sun was red. That wasn't good. But I just sat there at the waterfront, took out a joint, sparked it up, and had me a time. Because that's all you can do, really. I had myself a good front row seat to the apocalypse of what it would look like. What hell could possibly look like. And it didn't look that bad. It didn't look that bad. It actually looked kind of cool. It was like, ooh, I'm in Blade Runner now. But Blade Runner is cool until you have to live in it. But I sat there and there was a level of acceptance I felt. I was like, oh, if this is it, this is kind of the way it should go, Me on a park bench, by the water, looking at the city I love, in a hellscape vibe, and me just smoking a joint going, well, we had to run. We had to run. What else was there to do? Blame Canada? I hadn't even been paying attention to the Canadian war on wildfires because, to be fair, I don't think much about Canada. No offense to our Canadian listenership. Why would I care? But I had to care now because it was making my city kind of unbearable. And to be fair, that's kind of how climate change works. Yes, we're going to talk about climate change a tad. I'm not going to be all on my soapbox about it because too many people were on this soapbox about it. But climate change doesn't really matter until something like that happens and everyone goes, oh, things might be a little real around here. And I am kind of a middle person on the climate change thing. I do believe in it. I do think it's happening. Do I think it's always happened where there's been ice ages and other stuff like that? Of course. I think the Republicans have a point there. But I also think the liberals have a point where we haven't helped anything. And industrialization hasn't really helped much. But then there's always that, well, we're not as bad as China. And to be fair, if that's the logic, it's very flawed. Because, yeah, they may be the worst, but what are we saying? If they just did pollution the way we did pollution, it'd be less polluted. But still polluted? It kind of doesn't work. And it's easy to blame the Chinese. They got excited about industrialization. Everyone does. They got a bit more excited than others. Good for them. They put together buildings in days. I don't know if they're safe. I think I saw that one TikTok video where they put up a building in Hong Kong in 7-8 days. That didn't seem safe. It seemed a bit rushed to me. You walk to that building like, there's still wires sticking out? They're stuffing them in, going, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Half it's not even painted yet, but it's open for business. The windows are just plexiglass, really. They're not real windows. You just fall right out. But hey, you want things done fast? You want things done good? Or you want things done cheap? As a friend told me, you can only pick two of those. And he's right. That is a real thing. You can only have two of those. And There's flaw with whatever you choose. But, it was interesting to have the worst air in the world for 2 days. It was nice, kind of. We won at something. We got to be the world's worst at something. How many people can say their town or their city's the world's worst at anything? Not many. And accomplishment's an accomplishment in this day and age, so you take what you can get. But I remember just sitting there, and there was a level of acceptance that was just like, well, this is just not good. I thought these would be things that would happen in my 50s, in my 60s, but they're happening when I'm 35. Well, here we are. Here we are. Not much I can do about it. I have no economical power. I'm just a dude. So the most I can do is spark up a joint. And to be fair, I think it's my last one. For a long time, I kind of wanted to be the last one for a long time. So I can remember that feeling. I was just going, this is it. I sat there looking at the hellscape going, man, apparently we're as divided as we've ever been since the Civil War. But I would argue the 60s were pretty divided as well. But depends on who you ask. But, the economy is shitty. I'm never going to own a house. I'm delayed from doing all the grown-up things that every adult should be doing. So, fuck it. This is it. This is kind of how it happens. My generation bites the bullet on this one. It's not a bad bullet to bite because we have cool shit to watch, like Chimp Empire. I'm 2 episodes into Chimp Empire. It's a great documentary if you haven't watched it. It's on Netflix. They follow these chimps in a Ngako jungle, the Central Tribe and the Westerner Tribe. Now, back in 1993, this tribe was dope. They were huge. Then they had a splintering. So there was the Westerners, now the Central Tribe. I'm 2 episodes in. Spoiler alert, the chimps go to war. They go to war because they're 98% our DNA ancestors, so of course they went to war. But it's very interesting to watch chimps operate. They have a hierarchy. Like for them, grooming is not just, social or something to do with another chimp. It's political. Who you groom with is very important. People judge you by who you groom with. Or you hanging out with that guy? That guy's kind of a fucking loser. You're grooming him? All right. That's a little weird. Even though it sounds a little weird, oh, you're grooming him, but it's not in that way, okay? But it could be. Not in a sexual manner, but you could be grooming them. Like, all right, listen, this guy needs an ally. I have more political clout in the herd or the pack. I don't know what they call those for apes. That part they kind of skipped over. But, but in the territory, you go up and, all right, this guy needs help. He's a lonely monkey. He's got, no, parents. Like there was one that was an orphan that he had nobody to turn to. And one of the older ones came up to him going, I got you, man. I'll groom you. I'll let people know you're rocking with me and they won't fuck with you no more. And now he's closer into the center of the tribe. Now he's been welcomed in. Isn't that interesting how that works? If you extend a hand, it kind of helps people. How fucking revelatory from our old species ancestors. But they have politics, They have a sense of war as well. They do patrols. Like it's highly interesting to see how much of that is ingrained in our DNA as people. That war is not new to us, it is not a human concept. It is a concept that we got from the chimps because it was built into us. We are those people. We cannot get around it. And they actually have a thing where they say that because the Westerners do not look at the Central Tribe as one of their own, it's easy to kill those chimps because they're not one of them. They're not part of them. They're a separate entity, which sounds a lot like human beings. So in essence, all we've been doing is trying to fight the chimp in us, which is interesting. Certainly something we're fighting for. In the movie Seven at the end, Morgan Freeman says, Ernest Hemingway says, the world's a beautiful place and we're fighting for. I agree with the second part. And that's a great quote from Morgan Freeman because it's true. Whether the world's a beautiful place or not is solely up to how you look at it. It's solely up to what your experience is, because it could be a horrible place. Like Schopenhauer talks about this all the time. Schopenhauer, one of the great pessimistic philosophers, says it's all vile, it's all terrible, it's just disgusting, and people are the worst. The universe is the worst. It's just all around a bad deal, and the good times don't make up for it. So, is it worth fighting for 100%? But depending on where you're at, what your point of view is it a beautiful place? Half and half. Was it beautiful to watch my city turn orange for a day? Kinda. Kinda. What did it cost? Toxic air levels. You gotta take the good with the bad, it seems. But watching Chimp Empire, you start to realize certain things. That just, we're tribal by nature. We can't help it. And this is a tribe of apes that have about 100 apes in it. And the smaller tribe has like 8 males and a bunch of females. And like that's the Western tribe. So they're struggling a bit to maintain some kind of supremacy because they don't have enough warriors. But peep this, though. In the Central tribe, men run that tribe because there's a lot of males there. But in the Western tribe, there's 8 males, about 24 females. With the 24 females, though, fight in wars alongside them. And they share power a little bit equally in that tribe. Because out of necessity of, hey, it's just us. They're a tight-knit group. They do what they got to do to survive. And at that point, power structure, all that other shit goes out the fucking window. We got to survive. And something tells me we're kind of there as a society. Like power structures, however you want to look at them, fine for what they were, but now we're in survival mode because the planet's out to kill us. And our very base chimp nature is out to kill us. You've got riots all across the world. You had January 6th happen. You know, we've got political fucking civil war, pretty much. There was that fucking clip too that they had of that LGBTQ protest that was attacked by the MAGA guys. Like all that shit's happening. You know, Blackstone's taking over your house. The landlords are slowly becoming just corporate entities you can't get to. Like it's gonna be like that South Park episode, the Margaritaville, where it's the Great Recession and Stan's just trying to return his dad's Margaritaville machine. And he has to keep going up the ladder, and eventually they send him to the economy. And it's a bunch of dudes in suits who are just hovering around like a Wheel of Fortune style table. And he's like, I want to return this machine. He's like, well, let's see what it's worth. They cut the head off this chicken. The chicken like runs around, you know, in its last breaths and stops. And it goes, your Margaritaville is worth $10 million. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, that's what the economy says. And that is what the economy is. Crystal Ball had one of the best takes on, the stock market. It's just a chart of rich people's feelings. And that is one of the best illustrations of what the economy is to me, at least for the everyday person. Your wallet is an illustration of how happy you are, because broke, happy people are very rare. Like people who can thrive while being broke are very rare. And they can say they're happy on the outside, but on the inside, they're thinking about those bills coming up. They're thinking about everything that happens after that $1 they spent. There's a reason why they don't go out for drinks, because that one drink is going to cost them a bill. It's going to cost them their life in some way. Like, that's what's crazy about it. That one meal out could be the fucking difference between making rent and not. Fucking crazy. But that's where we're at now. And that's kind of when you look at something like the sky's turning orange in New York, you're kind of reminded on Front Street, oh, we've run this to the ground. Like, we've reached peak modernity. This is it. It gets no better than this. I know we talk about this a lot the last few weeks, but it's true. It kind of gets no better than this. And there's an acceptance to that. It's like, hey, at least I'm here for it. At least I'm jamming with it. At least I'm going to experience it. And if I'm lucky, I'll be in the wasteland drinking, Aqua Cola, like Mad Max, telling people I was there. I was there when the forest fire smoke came into New York, and that was the first sign. And I was there smoking a joint, just going, hey, this is it. And I just accepted it. It's not a bad place to be. Front row to the end of the world. I like it. Will I make it to the end? I don't know. We'll see how long I got, how many years I got left. That's always up in the air, really. I mean, when you get past 30, it's really up in the air. But that's kind of, what I was thinking about. I just sat there and went, man, like, the dark futures of comics and books kind of has arrived. It's not as dark as we thought it was. Like, there's no sentinels running around collecting mutants and shit. But, Boston Dynamics and those goddamn robo-dogs. Maybe they'll be the next sentinels. Maybe they'll hunt down people. Some do need to be hunted down, I guess. But it was interesting to see how New Yorkers reacted to it, because we just laughed about it. We just made jokes about it. We made Blade Runner jokes. We made Fallout jokes. We just laughed our way through it, because that's what we do here. Like, New York is a very unserious city. Even at the most tragic of times, we're a very unserious city, because we've seen everything. We're just over. By the time the rest of the world is, we're already over it. We're like, yeah, that happened. It's why I always felt a little like when people would say, oh, 9/11 was an American tragedy. I'm like, nah, it's more of a New Yorker tragedy. Like, if you lived in Wyoming, you were fine. Like, the terrorists weren't coming to get you there. They weren't coming to Montana. They were coming to the big city. So if you're from a big city, I understood it. But if you're from fucking Idaho, like, why the fuck would a terrorist go there? That's the one part that doesn't really ring true to me in Sicario too, where they blew up that mall. ISIS. It's like, why would they go to that mall? Like, what would be the point in that? Like, it's like in the middle of nowhere town. Come on. Sicario 2 was decent. Not as good as Sicario 1, but it was decent. But that's the thing about it. Even with the pandemic, it's like, listen, how bad was your pandemic if you had like acres of land and you didn't have to go anywhere? Like, I would see these people who, the people who were most against mask mandates were people who could afford to not be around people. It was crazy to me. It was nuts. It was like, I get it. It's like, I do understand why there's a skepticism of it, because I was skeptical of it. But you guys are riding too hard. A little too hard. The city should be having like a, hold on, motherfucker. You're taking away our fucking livelihoods. Now I can't go to fucking work. Now I had to put on a mask wherever I go, even though I'm a relatively healthy individual. Now I can apparently spread it, which that turned out not to necessarily be true. Like, so many things from the pandemic turned out not to be true. But I think Rogan's finally coming around to this point. I've been saying it forever. You can't blame people for that. People believe what they believed at that time. There was no real evidence going around. None. Everyone was a fucking lunatic at that point. You gotta forgive the first few months. Now, if you were a fucking year and a half and you're still a fucking nutcase, then I don't know what to tell you. And I'm talking about both sides here. But that level of skepticism ended up coming into this fucking cloud situation. A bunch of people were going, I don't understand how forest fire smoke could reach New York. That doesn't seem real to me. It's like, well, you didn't pass science. You never took a science class. And this is when I realized some kids should have been left behind. Like, in our effort to, have an educated society with no child left behind, we failed. We let a lot of people in who shouldn't have. There was a tweet I saw that was saying that what Twitter is back in school, they would put all the specialized kids in one spot because they're super smart ones, regular kids in one part of the school, the really dumb ones in different classes, and we never had to mingle, so we never knew how stupid the other party was or how smart the other party was. But now that we're in Twitter, holy fuck, now everyone's in the same classroom, and we realize how many of them are actually fucking dumb. And it's true. It's the people who will say social media has dumbed down society, but then will tell you, I don't understand how the smoke could reach New York. That seems like a conspiracy. Where are they hiding? Why do they want New Yorkers back in their homes? Seems how did they make the sky orange? Smoke doesn't make the sky orange. That's not how smoke works. Okay. Guess you never seen a fire before. Guess you never been around embers. Guess you never seen a sunset. Little weird. But that's kind of what it is, man. That's kind of what it is. That's where we're at. You just have to accept. A level of acceptance is nice. That's what I had when I was sitting at that bench. And it was gray that night. Like there was a small piece of orange. The orange was really the next day, but watching that gray, it was just like, man, this is pretty shitty. Like this is it. This is what my adult years are. Surviving pandemics, recessions, and deadly air. I thought I'd be like, hoverboards or something. Tonight, we are young. It was going to be like that, At the bars and clubs, drinking, having a good time, having a cool job, making cool cash, buying cool shit, having a future. Oh, man. None of that happened. Who's to blame? I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy. I don't know nothing. Haven't you figured it out now after 74 episodes? I don't know anything. I just have a lot of opinions. But it was nice. Just every hit just felt like this one could be the last one. Better enjoy it. Yeah. That's what it felt like. Just a nice, this is it. And I've seen pictures of people who were on vacation, like I think in Hawaii, and there was a volcano erupting in the background, and they're on a separate island, so they'll see it from a distance, and they're just hanging out. And that to me is the perfect summation of our time here. Hey, the world's falling apart, but have a good time. And you're right. Listen, you're never going to own a house. Go have a good time. Take that trip. Why save money? Go have fun. Future, be damned. Go have fun. Go take that trip to Miami. Go take that trip across Europe. Go do it. What are you saving up for? That money's not going to be worth a damn in a few years anyway. Go out. Have a good time. Explore the planet while it's still together. While you're still able to. I feel like the movie Children of Men is going to be a thing. I do. There was that Russian witch, right? That Russian witch. That was her predictions. She said that infertility was going to become a thing. We're all going to have children through labs. She died in the 90s. But apparently 68% of her predictions became true, even though her followers would argue 85%. Interesting enough. But she's saying there might be a nuclear war this year. Well, okay. Every year someone says there might be a nuclear war, even though this Russia-Ukraine situation's kind of cooled off a little bit for America. We're still sending money, but it's not getting reported as much. Why? Because they know what the fuck is up now. They got what they wanted out of it. We had to have a feel-good story where Russia was getting their comeuppance, but now the real political intrigue has come into play, and it's going to be a problem. Just keep on ticking closer to midnight. Fauci's gone. He's just disappeared because he knows that lab leak thing's coming out. And then you have that guy who came out going, hey, we have UFO aircrafts. Well, we have them. And we have bodies. And no one gave a shit. It was almost as if it just went right over everyone's head. That's why, to me, people keep saying, oh, we cannot tell the truth about aliens because it would break people's vision of how they see themselves and could cause panic. No, it won't. People don't care anymore. The idea of there being something out there no longer interests them anymore because things are so shitty down here. They don't care. What they care about is just being right. What they care about is just being right now on Twitter, on socials. They just want to be right. They want to be viewed a certain way. And I guarantee you, if you reveal who the aliens are, even if they're within our communities, right? Like the fucking secret invasion shit that Marvel's gonna do. Even if there were like shape-shifting aliens among us, and fucking Taylor Swift came out tomorrow and fucking turned into an alien, people will go, fucking figures. They wouldn't care. We're over it. We're over existence now. It's kind of overrated. You're born to pay bills, work, die. That's it. It's kind of boring. That's why people do things like drugs. And I get it. What a better way to pass time. Snort some coke. Do some meth. That's why I support the crackheads and the heroin addicts. Because at least they're doing something with their time. Something interesting. Something they want to do. Now, is it healthy? Well, by God, what is healthy anymore? We're rewriting definitions all the time. So fuck it. Let them do it. I wonder what a heroin addict thought when he saw the orange beam. I wonder what a heroin addict thought when he saw the sky being orange. That's an interview I wish the New York Post had gotten. But it didn't. But yeah, full on whistleblower going, yo, we got this shit. But the problem is, what I don't like about this guy is that he keeps reporting what other people told him. And I need him to have been the one to see him. I need him to have been the one to see it. Because it's one thing to say what somebody told you. They could be bullshitting you. They could be having a laugh. But Congress is starting up a new hearing, apparently, because they're like, this is explosive, and someone's got to answer for it. So he better have documents. He better come forward with some real shit. Because that huge announcement that we have alien bodies and alien ships will be on C-SPAN and no one will cover it. Because no one cares. Doesn't matter anymore. The NBA playoffs are on. That's the finals. Who gives a shit about aliens? Who gives a shit? Hey, this orange sky is ruining my birthday. Who gives a shit about aliens? That's how it is. Hey, I can't even afford to stay in my apartment. Who gives a shit about the aliens? I'll never own a house. Who gives a shit about the aliens? That's it. And it sucks for an aliens guy like me. Because I want people to care about the aliens. Because I care about the aliens still. Because I still think finding out that there's something beyond our galaxy kind of puts some shit in perspective. Could do some good. If they just, honestly, if I'm the Pentagon, right? I'm dragging dead bodies out going, we got the bodies. Check this out. We got the bodies. Look at this here. We got the bodies. You see that? That's an alien body. Poke it. Cut it open. Look at his organs. That's an alien body. That's an alien heart. Look at his eyes. That's a real alien. And you know what the shitty part is? People will still think it's fake. They'll still think it's fake. You can show them a ship flying over them. They'll still think it's fake. So it doesn't even matter anymore. Reality doesn't even matter anymore. People were thinking the orange sky was fake. But it was right there. It was a mass hoax. New Yorkers have never been that united, ever. Not even after 9/11. People like to fucking throw that myth out there, how united we were after 9/11. Yeah, ask the Habibis at the fucking store, because they were still getting shit. They were still getting their fucking windows broken and shit. People were nice for about 3 days, and then they went right back to their racism. That's how it works with great events. You only report the things that are interesting. As Norm Macdonald once said, oh wow, all the good guys have always won in history. What are the odds? But no one believes anything anymore. No one is plugged in to a sense of community. We don't experience things the same way anymore. So when you see something like the orange sky, everyone's got a take. And maybe, God, I hate to sound like this guy, but maybe some people shouldn't have a voice. Just saying. Yeah, I might be on the censorship bandwagon now. I think I've reached the limit of stupidity. Because there's good stupidity, then there's bad stupidity. Good stupidity is fun, entertaining. The bad ones are just morons. I don't understand how smoke from Canada could get to New York, as if the wind, jet streams, how hurricanes travel, I don't understand how you don't understand it. I don't. And you know what? Maybe I'm just an idiot. Maybe I'm the moron. Maybe I keep expecting too much out of people. That's fair assumption. It's fair assumption. Even though, listen to this show, you would think I hate people, but I actually give people a lot more credit. And I'm probably going to stop. But spark them up, man. It's the end of the world. Have a good time with it. Take that girlfriend of yours out. Because Lord knows, okay? Let's bring it down to a very, very ground level situation. If you have been with someone for the last few years, you have had to quarantine with them, you have had to go broke with them, and now you're watching American major cities turn orange. And all the while, you've both been doing the box set Death March, as brought to you by one Sarah Snook on Succession. You're not doing much. Why? Because there's no money to do anything. So take that savings you have, right? Because there is no future for you two. There's none. It's never going to pan out. A white picket fence, what are you, a fucking moron? Here's what you're going to do. You're going to take that savings and you're going to blow it. You're going to blow it. Hey, go somewhere expensive. A place you can't afford. Run up your credit debt. Fuck, who even knows if the system will be operating in a few years? Go for it. Go to Foxwoods. Go to Vegas. Gamble it all. Because to be fair, it's not doing anything for you in your bank account. You just keep looking at it, making sure it's still there. Because to be fair, it only operates on a level of trust. So, who do you trust more, you or the bank? This is why I get mad when people talk about putting money in your mattress. Why not put money in your mattress? You know yourself better than the bank. That when you get older, you start realizing all the propaganda people threw at you. Like, oh, you can trust the bank with your money. It's the bank. Like, okay. You non-studying history motherfuckers. I got you. But hey, blow the money. Buy a Bentley. Buy a Bentley. You don't deserve a Bentley. You're a pig, like I am. We're all pigs here. We all deserve a little slop. You know? We all deserve a little wiggle in the slop. Buy a Bentley. Drive around in it. Make people think you're rich. And when people ask you, how are you financing that? I don't know. Aren't you afraid you'll lose your house? No, don't got one. Well, what about bills? Fuck them. I got a Bentley. I'll live in my Bentley. That's real estate right there. A Bentley. That's going to be a new real estate if you keep it a buck. People living in the car. The RV is coming back in a major way. I wouldn't mind living in an RV. There are those small houses that you can build on small plots of land. That's going to be a thing. The trailer park is the future. The trailer park is the future of American humanity. Like, it 100%. It has to be. Those new fold-up houses and shit that you can, like, build them with, like, 2 people, and you flip the wall up and you connect them through brackets. And, dude, we're all going to be trailer park people. We all are trailer park people. That's the thing we don't realize. The projects and the trailer park are no different. Living in a gated community is no different than a trailer park because everyone's a dumbass. Everyone's a moron. No one's aware of anything. Everyone's living in a bubble. Let's just all be one big trailer park. Let's accept it. Let's all just, eat the shittiest food. Pay very little in lot fees. Live off the government. That's what UBI should be. Getting us closer to the trailer park life. I wouldn't mind living a trailer park life. It sounds great. I get to be drunk by noon. Sign me up. I don't even drink like that anymore, but I'll start drinking if I have a trailer. You gotta live the gimmick. Wine moms are doing it in fucking mansions. They're no different than a trailer park person who shoots heroin at noon, or at least is drinking vodka or rum. It's all the same shit. It's just where you do it. It's all about setting. It's all about setting. It's all about setting. Whew. But these are the thoughts I had while looking at that fucking cloud, man. Just like, man, this is not good. And this is not meant to be a downer episode. I think I had some fun here. I think we had a chuckle or two. But it is something worth thinking about. The skies are turning different colors. The fucking skies are turning different colors. UFOs might be real and no one cares. No one's going to own a home. Listen, man, you got to laugh. You got to laugh. Let me tell you, it could be worse. You could be living in a third world country. And some would say we are. But you could be living in a third world country with no running water. No sanitation to speak of. You're technically at odds with the government because you're fighting an ongoing civil war that's going nowhere. And both armies are named liberation armies. So no one knows who's the good guy here because both act like bad guys and they chop people's arms off and shit. And it's an ongoing saga of, I think, we're going to be the first democratic government of this nation. But the truth is, it's really a dictator who, fucks up all the elections and he wins every time. It's like almost miraculous how he wins every time. It's like, how does he do it? How does he have that much support? And by a landslide every time. So good. And that usually comes from hard economic times and people not owning things and climate catastrophes and, just relative unease because strong men show up and they have answers and they have a vision. It may not be a good vision, but they've got one and they can mobilize you to get you to do things. Because at that point, you're so beaten down by what's around you. You're like, well, fuck it. I done spent all my money on this Bentley. Let me just fucking follow the strong man. The strong man has a lot of points. The strong man, listen, what's the other option? Fucking sunshine and rainbows? Who's got that in their back pocket? Nobody. No one can give you sunshine and rainbows. Not even the fucking metaverse has sunshine and rainbows. Fucking Zuckerberg abandoned that shit. So NFTs crumbled. So it doesn't even matter. Sometimes a strong man may be the best shot you got. Am I advocating for a dictatorship? Only if I'm running it. Which that's everyone's thought. Everyone thinks they would be a great dictator. I think it'd be a fantastic dictator. There are fantastic nations out there that have great dictators, I think. North Korea seems happy, I think. Even though that one chick keeps going to all the podcasts about how terrible North Korea is, but her stories are starting to get a bit... It's almost like it's too much. It's almost like I see what you're saying, but you're telling me you guys only eat grasshoppers? That's... No one has any other kind of food? It's a little odd. It's a little odd that all your stories are the most extreme stories I've ever heard. Not saying I don't believe Yamni. Okay, I think she's got a point or two. But it's a little kind of weird how all her stories are the worst stories you've ever heard. A little confusing. Well, anyway. Maybe that's the key. It could be worse. We could be living under a strongman dictatorship, which we have all the right ingredients for. So, light them up. It's the end of the world, baby. And it's going to get fun. You're going to have fun. You're going to enjoy it. Believe me, you're going to enjoy it. You'll first be horrified, but then when your mind finally breaks and you finally accept, what's going to happen, you're going to have a lot of fun. Have fun. That's the key. You don't know how long you have. Have fun. 'Cause I think we all know how this one is going to end.